Welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight. I am joined today by our guest, Neal Portnoy, and he is the owner of Portnoy Gallery Incorporated here in Las Vegas. He has been in business approaching 5 decades. So, Neal, that is a massive accomplishment. And in your journey in business, I'm excited to learn more about you and your business journey. So without further ado, Neal, can you tell us a little bit about you and your business?
Sure. I mean, I get up in the morning, I look in the mirror and go, that can't be true. I've been illustrating. I'm a analog artist in a digital world.
Mm-hmm.
I've been illustrating professionally now for just about 50 years, coming off a semi-productive professional baseball career, followed by a very productive college coaching career, followed by being recognized here in Las Vegas as the illustrator to the stars. We have here at the gallery, something called the Portnoy Wall of Honor. You haven't arrived in Vegas unless you've been Portnoyed. So the name's become a verb, and basically that's a caricature. But unlike other caricatures, these are portrait caricatures. On PortnoyGallery.com, Portnoy.Vegas, you can see all the samples. But basically it shows you the realism from crossover from caricature to actual the sports artist Norman Rockwell in the sports art genre field. Right. So it varies in the entertainment, the sports, the fine art to it's been an interesting journey, as I've always called it. Mm-hmm. Life is a journey. We're only here in a short period of time, and listen, I've left a legacy already in Vegas. When I'm gone, all the work I've done will remain and be talked about for years to come.
That's fantastic. Now, Neal, you touched on a lot of good stuff about, what you've built over the last 5 decades. And something that I like to ask is, in your field or in your business, what do you feel is most misunderstood?
Well, I think what's most understood is unless you understand the process. I work in a medium that nobody works in because it's very unforgiving. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't say nobody, very few. Felt tip magic markers. Mm. So unlike oils, acrylics, and watercolors where you can mix colors and change colors, marker is a stain. When you put it down, it's down. You can't make a mistake. And someone says, well, which of you make a mistake? Well, I've got a caricature background. In caricature, every line is an expression. So if I make a mistake, I make it into something else. Right. I change it up. The most non-understood, because I don't understand the terminology, is what to do once you have an original drawing. What do you do with it? Mm. Well, case in point, the Raiders organization built here in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. They took one of my 18 inches by 24-inch works of art, the greatest Raiders of all time, and they monetized it by enlarging it to a 28 by 40-foot mural. Wow. Inside Allegiant Stadium. Now, they use the application or the publishing or the reproduction use, intertwine either word, to enlarge it to a mural. Mm-hmm. They can also make signed and numbered reproductions for their fans, for their season's ticket holders. I mean, there are so many ways of reproducing, again, using the word publishing, the work to monetize it. That's the most non-understood. Why am I having trouble with that word? Misunderstood. That's right. The most misunderstood use of what do you do with an original work of art.
Mm. And that's interesting, right? Because that's where you, as subject matter expert, are able to educate other people, right? In knowing.
Yeah, that, I don't know if the word expert. I mean, thank you, but I don't know if the word expert is used. It's with 50 years of experience. It's as we spoke earlier off camera. We talked about ability you're born with. You learn technique. You enhance it with repetition. Mm. The repetition, 50 years of doing it. It's not like it's a novel idea that I'm proposing to a client. Right. I've already done it. This is how my client used it before. So I'm bringing back subject matter applications that have already been used. And the fact that I've done it and I've done it for such a longevity of time, yeah, I use the word expert. You know, I know a little bit more than the average person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, as we were talking about a little while ago, right? The goal of the business spotlight is to educate and inspire people that are on that business journey, right? Entrepreneurship. And the goal is, okay, if they're on that similar journey, how does your story resonate? So without that is what inspired you, Neal, to start your business?
Well, you know what? I had a very successful baseball career, semi-pro, pro, call it whatever you want. And like many athletes, I had an injury to my wheels, my legs,
Hmm.
and which are the most important thing for an athlete. And you know, I did the crying for 2 weeks. The dream was gone. Okay, what do I do now? And I had the ability. I was born with the ability to you know, make people laugh by doing a couple scribbles, and the couple scribbles turned into a couple refined scribbles. The refined scribbles turned into, oh, that's pretty. Can I buy that? Wait a minute, I can
Mm,
make money with this. And I am a huge, and I would suggest strongly to all the listeners and viewers that are watching this, that never give up planting seeds.
ooh,
You know, plant seeds. Seeds grow. You have to fertilize them, you have to water them. So I'm a seed planter. It's, you know, it's the old dating game theory, you know, throw enough up in the ceiling, something's bound to stick, right? Um, so the analogy would be comparable to to that terminology. And as an ex-athlete, you know, for 40 some odd years prior to, I was a singles hitter. I was occasional. I'd hit a double in the gaps in the alleys. Well, now it's time to go deep. I put my dues in. I put my time in. Um, you never ever stop learning. You learn something new every day. And on the inside of my left arm, I have a tattoo that says, "One moment in time changes everything."
mm,
When is that moment going to happen for people? Sometimes you create that moment. Sometimes you walk into that moment. Sometimes that moment's right in front of you. You don't recognize it. Somebody had said to me once, um, you know, the interesting thing is that you know the person who can change everything.
mm,
You just don't know that that's the person.
mm.
Very interesting.
Right?
So you listen. If God wanted us to talk more, He would have given us two mouths and one ear, right? So I used to tell that to my players as I was coaching them, that always listen. You're going to pick up something. You're going to think
Hmm.
of something. It's going to trigger you in a different. Life is like a tree.
Oh
You
yeah.
start at the base of the tree, you start climbing, and all of a sudden you get on a branch, and that branch has other branches you never knew existed. Yeah, you're still going up, but you might go in a different direction.
Hmm.
Very interesting.
Yep. Oh man, you said drop so much valuable information. I don't think you like the stuff you picked up. I want to pick apart. So you talked about your journey and the way it started is, hey, I was really good at something. It was at first to make people laugh, right? And then that turned into, hey, you're really good at this. And then, hey, can I buy it? Right. And then identifying, hey, I'm onto something.
Correct.
The rest is history, right? You've also dropped some really good information about, planting seeds, right? And active listening. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to do, right? Is the active listening. And you're right. There's a reason why we were given two ears and one mouth, right? Not two mouths and one ear.
Correct.
And
Correct. Yeah.
that's something that's massive, right? Especially on this journey of business, is we have to really pay attention to knowing the things that are around us, right? And knowing how to maneuver in business, because business is not an easy thing, or everyone would be doing it,
Well,
right?
the other thing, which is, in my opinion, and I preface it always by saying my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
is giving, giving and
Mm,
giving back. The more you give back, the more that comes your way. I pride myself on one of the abilities that I was born with, is connecting people. I love to connect
mm,
people. You know, I think it's huge that if you know someone who can help someone, put the two of them together. It's going to
mm-hmm.
come back to you as, hey, Neal Portnoy connected the two of us. I got a job that just came up. I'm thinking of you. I mean, I'm doing a job now for uh, a college here in town, not UNLV, but I'm trying to think of the other one, Nevada or some CSL, CSN,
CSN.
CSN. They're opening a new department, or trying to make the department work. It's the arts and entertainment department. And they said, we're bringing in a guy from Broadway in New York. Okay. Who is this guy? Michael Gill. I don't know who Michael Gill just happens to have done Phantom the Opera and all the big show. He is the guy in New York.
Wow.
You know what? I don't treat him like he's the guy in New York. I treat him like, all right, hey, I'm Neal Portnoy. Nice to meet you. What do you do? You know, and he's a normal person, but he has the ability and the contacts that if I do for them, he's going to remember and do for me. Now, it's a seed planted. The seed may not immediately grow, but the seed's been planted. You build relationships throughout life. You build, the key, I can't stress it enough to people, is build relationships. You know, don't try to sell yourself. Hey, I'm the greatest thing that ever happened since some buttered bread. No, this is who I am, and this is what I do. This is who you are. This is what you do.
Right.
You know, a couple weeks ago, we went to the Barry Manilow show, and Barry and I have been trying to connect. You know, I did a drawing of him and I gave it to him at Christmas show. Somebody brought it backstage, and I finally had the opportunity to meet him. And Barry goes, I love that picture. I have it in my dressing room. And then I'm showing Barry pictures on my phone, just in a normal conversation. I don't care, you're Barry Manilow, you're another person. Barry kept hitting me. He goes, get out. You did this. He's hitting my shoulder. That's magic markers. Get out. My wife is hysterically laughing. Barry Manilow is hitting me in an interview.
Yeah.
It's classic. I mean, but you know what? Everybody is an individual. Everybody's got abilities and traits. Like, you don't know what goes on behind a closed door.
Right.
You don't know what life that person's had to the point of you meeting them for the first time, for the second. You don't know. You don't know their pains. You don't know their joys. Build the relationship. Get to know your person.
Yeah, you've said some really good things, right? Is number one, it's all about relationships. And I'm going to echo that, right? Everything we do in life is about relationships. And the other thing you said is when you connect people, there's two things that I always talk about when I'm making a connection to somebody is you always want the feedback of, hey, thank you for introducing me to this person because I didn't know what they did was possible.
Correct.
Versus the opposite one of, hey, why the heck did you introduce me to this person, right? And it goes back to something you said earlier is don't try to sell that person. Build a relationship first, because that is what will create a memorable impression of like, hey, they're treating me like a normal person. That's the other thing you said. That's something I've learned really early on in the Marine Corps is everybody puts on their pants one leg at a time.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, of course, of course. Long time ago. It was over 2 decades ago. But
you know, I go back to look in the mirror in the morning and go, that can't be true.
Right.
My goal now in life, exercise wise, is I did that for a living every day, get to the gym, right? Is to be able to cut my toenails and breathe at the same time.
Yep, 100%. So I've got time for one more question, Neal.
Sure.
And this is one of my favorite questions is what advice would you give 20-year-old Neal who is just getting into business?
Invest. Put your money away. Don't blow all your money. You know what? I love to tell this advice to these young kids growing up that are, extremely successful at a very young age. They get a job, they don't have someone asked me once, how's your credit? I said, excellent. I owe everybody. I mean, it's a classic line, right? Is to take 10% of everything you're earning and put it away. Trust me, life goes by very quickly. I'm 70 years old right now. And everybody goes, you don't act it, you don't look it, you don't feel it. You know what? From the waist down, I'm 92. Everything else falls apart. But put your money away. Take 10% of your earnings when you start earning money, open up an account, get a financial advisor that's willing to work with somebody young and new. You are not going to miss. If you make $100, you're not going to miss $10. You make $1,000, you are not going to miss $100. But if I had invested in 1987 $1,000 in Google, I'd be worth $32 million today. Think about that, right? So It is extremely important. If I was a 20-year-old again, I wish I had taken the advice that an uncle had given me. But you know what? Hey, I'm here to conquer the world. I'm 20 years old. Well, you know what? Listen to your elders, not because they're elders, only because they've been there, done that, and understand.
Mm, that's a great takeaway right there. Is definitely know where you're putting your money and know that the people ahead of you, right, that have been light years ahead of you, have been through it, and just they don't want history to continue to repeat itself.
Correct.
That's what I'm
Oh, yeah.
picking up, right?
Right.
All right, Neal. So, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you, connect, and if there was one question I didn't ask, what would that question be?
Well, Portnoy Gallery, that's Portnoy Gallery here in Las Vegas, 702-685-2929. We're at 1537 West Oakey Boulevard on the corner of Oakey and Western.
Mhm.
Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 3. We're here every day. We love when people come to the gallery. It's 3,200 square feet.
Wow.
And it's more a museum than it is a gallery. It's 50 years of what I've done all over the country. I guess as far as, you can reach out to Portnoy, Portnoy gallery at gmail.com. Any inquiries, you can go and see the website, see what I do. I'm always here to give advice to people and steer them in the right direction. That's your giving back. And you never know, because you can connect with someone. The one question is, someone asked me once, and this is important in any walk of life.
Mhm.
They asked me, what's the best piece you've ever done? And I answer it the same way every time. The next one.
Mm.
What's the greatest accomplishment you've ever achieved? The next one. What's your ultimate goal? The next goal. Never stop.
Mhm.
Never stop. You learn something new every day. You meet new people every day. One of my and my wife's goals here at the gallery is to put a smile on somebody's face every day.
Yes.
You will leave a legacy.
Mhm.
Again, we're only here for a short period of time.
100%.
And it's funny because I got to share this part with you. I played a couple years in Ponce, Puerto Rico, and Santo Domingo in the Dominican,
Mhm.
and they gave me a Spanish nickname. And I don't speak Spanish, but I know a few words, right? And it was loco payaso, which means crazy clown. You know what? I haven't changed. I'm still that clown.
Yeah. Well, Neal, I want to say thank you again for being on this episode of the Business Spotlight, and I look forward to connecting with you.
It was an absolute pleasure. And again, thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All right.